All right, let's get into it. Today, we're not just going to walk through the usual steps of buying your first rental property. Instead, we're going to deconstruct the entire process, really break it down into an analytical framework. The whole goal here is to move you past a simple checklist and give you the core strategies, the real mechanisms you need to launch a successful real estate portfolio. So, let's dive in.
So here's how we're going to build this framework. We'll move through 5 key pillars, starting with the absolute bedrock, your personal finances. Then we'll cover financing, how to pick the right property, and finally, how to generate wealth long after you've got the keys. Each part builds on the last, so you'll walk away with a complete model for that first big purchase. First up, financial prerequisites. Look, according to expert analysis, a successful real estate career doesn't begin with a property search on Zillow. It starts with a hard, honest look at your own financial foundation. This is the absolute, non-negotiable first step. So, let me ask you a question. Where do you think a real estate empire actually begins? Most people, they'd say it starts with finding that perfect house. But the data points to a very different starting line. And the answer is, it begins with your personal balance sheet. Your financial health is the bedrock. It doesn't just determine if you can invest, it actually dictates the quality of the opportunities you'll even have access to. It is the first, and honestly the most critical variable in the entire equation. Now, what's really important to understand here is the barrier to entry this number represents. See, lenders see investment properties as way riskier than the house you live in. And how do they offset that risk? Simple. They require a bigger down payment. You're typically going to need 15 to 20% of the purchase price in cash, ready to go. Next up is your credit score, and aiming for 730 or higher isn't just about getting approved. No, it's about profitability. Think about it. A higher score directly translates into a lower interest rate on your mortgage. That lower rate means a smaller monthly payment, which in turn means more cash flow from your rental every single month. So you've got to see that a strong credit score is a direct lever for your own profitability. And finally, let's talk cash reserves. We're talking beyond the down payment here. You absolutely need a buffer. Experts recommend setting aside an extra 3 to 5% of the property's value. And this isn't just extra money, okay? This is your strategic fund for closing costs, for immediate repairs, or to cover you during an initial vacancy. Without it, one surprise expense can totally derail an otherwise solid investment. Okay, let's build on that foundation with our second pillar, strategic financing levers. Once your finances are in order, the next move is to pick the right tool to actually buy the asset. And I want you to think of these not just as loans, but as powerful levers that can lower how much cash you need up front and maximize your returns. One of the most powerful levers for any first-time investor is a strategy called house hacking. The magic here is that you're using rental income from your tenants to slash or even completely eliminate your own housing costs. It is an incredible way to get your foot in the door with a much lower financial burden. And this slide just perfectly lays out the big trade-off you're going to face. You could go with an FHA loan, which is awesome for house hacking because it drops your down payment to as low as 3.5%. But what's the catch? You'll have to pay monthly mortgage insurance, and that eats into your cash flow. On the other hand, a conventional loan demands more cash up front, but your monthly costs are lower. The choice you make right here directly impacts both how hard it is to get started and your long-term profit. Okay, so our finances are solid. We have a financing strategy. Now let's turn our attention to the asset itself. And listen, this isn't about finding a nice house. This is about analyzing a whole matrix of variables to pinpoint a truly profitable asset. These right here are the 4 non-negotiables. And the most important one, it must be cash flow positive. That means after you get the rent and pay all your expenses, mortgage, taxes, insurance, a budget for repairs, you have to have money left over. For a beginner, you also want to avoid huge renovation projects. You're trying to be a landlord, not a general contractor. And of course, the property has to be in a location that attracts good, stable, long-term tenants. This quote from an expert analysis just cuts right to the chase. Your goal is not to find some trendy, edgy neighborhood. It's to find one that appeals to a reliable tenant base. Your decision has to be driven by data and rental market fundamentals, not by your personal taste or what's cool right now.
So let's say you found a property that checks all the boxes. Great neighborhood, solid condition. People are dying to rent there. But there's a hidden variable that can just silently eat away at your returns. Any guesses what that might be? It's the homeowner association fees. That's why analysis suggests beginners should be super careful with properties like condos. These high, non-negotiable HOA fees are a direct hit to your monthly profit. Plus, they can come with all sorts of restrictive rules that might stop you from renovating or adding value to your own property. So, the takeaway here is you have to analyze this fixed cost with extreme care. Okay, so now we're getting to the final phase before you actually own the thing, executing the acquisition. This is way more than just paperwork. Every single step is a strategic move designed to lower your risk and capture value before you sign on that dotted line. This whole sequence is your playbook for protecting your capital. Getting pre-approved gives you leverage. Making an offer with contingencies gives you an escape hatch. The inspection, that gives you critical data. And that data is what fuels your final negotiation. Each step is like a firewall, protecting you from making a really bad mistake. Now this is a total reframing of what an inspection is for. It's not just about finding a deal-breaker problem. It's about generating leverage. Every issue the inspector uncovers, from a leaky faucet to an old roof, is a data point you can use to go back and renegotiate the price or demand that the seller pays for repairs. It transforms what seems like a simple step into a really powerful financial tool. And finally, we've made it to the ultimate goal, post-purchase wealth generation. You see, owning the property is just the beginning. The real genius is in transforming that physical asset into a tax-efficient, wealth-generating machine. This is how real estate builds wealth way beyond just your monthly cash flow. The tax code is literally designed to encourage people like you to provide housing. Take depreciation, for instance. It's this amazing phantom deduction that lets you write off a piece of the property's value from your income every year, lowering your tax bill even while the property is hopefully going up in value. On a $300,000 property, that could be a $10,000 deduction every single year. Combine that with writing off mortgage interest and all your other expenses, and you start to see the real engine for building tax-efficient wealth. So you've done it. You own the asset, you get the tax advantages, but as you move forward, managing your portfolio for years, maybe decades to come, what is the one metric, the single most important vital sign that will ultimately determine your long-term success? It's the one thing that ensures your investment can survive downturns, surprise repairs, and vacancies. What do you think it is?